Hello, welcome to my yard in the late winter. It is one of my favorite times of the year. Now, I have just paid someone to put out 20 yards of wood chip mulch for me. And so that makes the yard look so clean and neat. Normally at the end of winter, a yard is going to look pretty rundown. This is a feathery liriope. And I'm hoping that it will cover this whole area because as I get older, I am learning that I can only do so much in my yard, and I'm hoping that this area will grow to be maintenance free. You can see some of my bearded iris just now starting to come up through the mulch. And there's a daffodil back there that is just getting ready to open. I'm going to move on down the side of my yard. And as I said, this is one of my favorite times of year because I am filled with such hope at this time of year. I think of all the new things I've planted, all the bulbs I've planted, and I hope for the best. This right here is a new strip that we put in. Now, normally I do not put a straight flower bed in. Straight goes more with a contemporary style, and I do not have that in my yard. We put this in because, as you can see behind here, my neighbor's yard is quite soggy, and we have a problem with rain runoff from that area. And it comes right across here. And we are hoping that by putting this flower bed in, it will be enough of a berm to deter the water and the roots will absorb it. I also had this new trellis built, and I'm very excited. I have a Lady Banksia rose planted, and I plan on adding moonflower and hyacinth bean. These daylilies are evergreen. They're called Acapulco Night, and they will bloom a beautiful red color in the spring. Again, the mulch, I think, makes everything look so much neater. And I've cleaned up most of the dead leaves, and I taken out the sticks and things like that. This is Flowering Quince, Quince. I have the white variety. It comes in red and pink and coral, and it's a beautiful plant for the spring. It will bloom from now until probably early April. You can see some daffodils are starting to come up here. My mums are starting to peek through the mulch. And over here I have some black-eyed Susan. I have some Gara, I have some bee balm, I have daffodils, I have phlox. This is Joe Pye weed over here, this little teeny stick. And I'm hopeful that it's going to attract lots of pollinators. This is mully grass, and here you can see this flower bed is ready for spring as well with lots of mulch on it. And in the back corner of my yard, over here, I have Mahonia, which is just starting to bloom. And these are called drupes on the plant. What will happen is that these drupes will produce wonderful berries for the birds. The berries will be purple, and then it's kind of boring for the rest of the year. Some people don't like it because it can reseed in your yard. However, it has not done so in my yard. This area is going to be covered with anemone. And I have some Solomon seal in here. I have a hellebore over here that did not bloom this year, disappointingly so. I have a gardenia here. Now I want you to notice this tree that came down in Hurricane Helene. It is not on our property. We are in the process of deciding who's going to be the one to clean that up. Again, I just think the mulch makes everything look so neat and clean. And my friend Marion inspired this little area. It is liriabe, monkey grass, common monkey grass, but it's the feathery variety. And eventually what it will do is fill in and give me a lot of movement here. This tree coming down is exciting for me because it's going to give this area so much more sun. And I'm excited for that because I have a Kousa dogwood in the background. I have an oak leaf hydrangea in the background. And I have a normal winky, I can't remember now what the name of it is, but it's a hydrangea that needs more sun. And I have little lime hydrangeas in here that are going to come out. You can see I have one daffodil that made it up through the mulch. This was planted many years ago. I've cut back my abelia. I'm hoping for a nice weeping form on that. I took out the babies from this aloe. I really like this stand of cast iron plant. Now, I know it's a very common plant. I know that most people don't like it, but I think it does have a purpose. It's evergreen, and it adds a nice, upright, leathery texture to your yard. I have peonies in these planters. I'm excited for those to come up. I have more abelia. I have Turk's cap coming up in this blank spot, and I expect all of you to remember this when I film this later in the spring. And I have lots of ferns. I have lots of carex, and those stay evergreen, and they give my yard a little bit of something to look at in the winter. This is a new Bear's Britches that I put in. Acanthus is the science name. And I'm excited for those tall lavender spires that come up in the spring. And again, like I said, I have lots of ferns. One of the things that I do at this time of year, along with cleaning up, is I straighten up all the planters. For some reason, they decide to tip over slightly in the winter, and so I straighten them back up and try to get them all looking a little bit more straightened. Now, I know you're not supposed to get carried away with cleaning your yard up in the spring, but I wanted to point this area out because I'm very fortunate that behind that blue container I can dump all of the things that I trim away. So I'm really not eliminating them for the birds, I am moving them. But I put seed heads, dead twigs back there, anything that they can use for nesting materials. These are all going to be hostas in the spring. I have a summon substance here that will be spectacularly big. This little hellebore has been so neglected, and it's in a dry spot underneath a sweet gum tree. But look, it's blooming. I can't believe it. And this one in the container, by contrast, is just lovely. It's been very happy here for the last 2 years, and I've been extremely happy with it. And then I'm going to just pan over here to the area that I cleaned up today. And what I did was try to straighten these pots up. I have Brunera in this. I have a white astilbe. I have an elephant ear in that one. I have Japanese painted fern in this one. This is Christmas fern, and it is an evergreen fern, which is an advantage. There is you can see it right here. There's a hellebore that is struggling with the Christmas fern for some space, and I probably need to move it. Hostas, again, I like that upright, leathery, big leaf texture against the texture of the ferns. This is an autumn fern. I like these because they are stay green all winter. They start to peter out right now at this time of year, but eventually, actually very quickly, they will put out new fronds, and they have a nice golden color in the summer. And these hellebores are finally deciding to be happy. This is the 3rd or 4th year that they've been in the ground, and they've decided they're going to stay, and I think they're just lovely. This garden has a blue and white theme. And the reason I have this is because in the summer it is shaded by this Japanese maple. And it looks so cool temperature-wise, to have it as blue and white. And in the heat of the summer, I find that very comforting. This is a brand new holly fern that I put in. It is very scraggly right now, but I'm hoping that when spring comes, it will take off. I plan on putting an annual in here. This is a maidenhair fern and a hosta that will come up. This is another fern that will come back. Again, I have the same kinds of hellebores repeating through this garden, and I'm just going to back up so you can see how they add a sense of continuity through this little flower bed. I cleaned out my bird baths and I filled them with water. This is another one that's hostas. I've been on a Japanese maple kick. This will be red. This one in this planter is green. And I have that one that will be pink. Again, this is an oak leaf hydrangea, and I'm hoping that in the spring you will, as everything leaves out, I will take another video in another 6 weeks. These are stinking hellebores. Sorry about the plane. They're a common hellebore. They were very inexpensive, and I put them in because I had problems with voles, V-O-L-E-S. Voles will tunnel underground and eat your plant, and suddenly you go out and your plant is dead. I am thrilled with these. I think they look lovely at this time of year. I have seen them used in flower arrangements, and they reseed prolifically, and they are a natural vole fence because they are poisonous. Their leaves and roots are poisonous. So this has been what I regard as a success. And again, you can see up the flower bed. I just like that texture. It makes a nice border. And over here, I have another hellebore that is red. I was very attracted to that red color, but unfortunately it does not show up as much as I would like to in the garden in the winter. These are hydrangeas that will eventually bloom out, I hope. And you can see I've left those flower heads on just for winter interest. I have rain lilies here. And my little frog is shedding his skin. I have iris in here and hardy begonia. I have Spanish bluebells, a hydrangea, and a tea olive in here. More autumn fern and a beautiful camellia. I try to have something blooming in my yard all year long. And this camellia had a hard freeze last week. So you can see I wasn't happy with that, but look at this and this, and it is loaded. Now what I will do on March 1st, which is just a short few number of days away, I will put out Milorganite again. I do have a slight problem with deer. The Milorganite just encourages them to go to my neighbor's yard. I have a few daffodils here. This is a variegated rooftop iris. that I got from Ted Stevens of Nurseries Caroliniana, and it blooms white in the spring. And I'm going to finish up with my front flower bed here. I have coral bells. I have another Japanese maple. And underneath all that, I have Indian pinks or spigelia. And these are a wonderful little daylily called Bitsy, B-I-T-S-Y. They have very tiny yellow blooms from about May 1st until the end of summer, on and off. And they're evergreen. And my azaleas, of course, which are the old-time azaleas that only bloom once. They're pink, and I will post pictures of them in the spring. And these tulips are hardy tulips. They are Persian tulips or species tulips, and they will rebloom in our heat, which is very unusual. And I'm going to finish up here with this beautiful combination of a lime, coral bells, heuchera, and my hellebore and its white bloom, and a little teeny pansy poking out its head. I am so excited for spring, and I hope y'all are too, and I promise to post another video in about 6 weeks.